Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Associated Press written by Regina Garcia Cano. It was published on, I'm assuming, July 20th. It says today. I don't believe it was the 21st because I mean it's after 1:30 here in the morning. But I was going to call it a night because I have videos to encode and edit, and I got to make graphics and do my descriptions and so on and so forth. But I came across this article, and to say it boiled my blood would be an understatement. MGM turns to never-tested law to sue Vegas shooting victims? How sleazy can you fucking be? You screw up. You allow this to happen on your watch, and you're going to sue the victims, even though there's no money involved. You have a lot of balls to do this. And I hope your company takes a major nosedive after this. This needs to be out there for the public to see. All right, people should be boycotting the MGM Grand. Their casino floor should be a bunch of dealers and you know, other table operators and such just standing around with their thumbs up their ass and pit bosses pacing, all pissed that they got no one to keep an eye on except for those people. This is vile and disgusting. All of their rooms should be vacant right now with this shit. And I'm not kidding about that. Because it goes to show that they don't want to accept responsibility for their fuck-ups, especially with all the discrepancies in what happened in the MGM with the security guard and everything else. And the spin with Ellen, you know, the security guard on Ellen and won't talk to anyone else. And, I mean, this is shady as all hell. And they got the audacity now to sue? The unprecedented move from MGM Resorts International to sue hundreds of victims of last year's mass shooting in Las Vegas using an obscure U.S. law never tested in court has been framed by the casino operator as an effort to avoid years of costly litigation, but the legal maneuver may not play out that way. And no, this is about screwing people out of restitution that they're rightfully deserved because your security allowed a guy to lug a shit ton of bags, okay, filled with weapons to his room, have a bunch of other red flags go up with him, and you didn't do one goddamn thing. And now you don't want to pay for that. But you should. Legally, ethically, and morally. The company is not seeking money in the lawsuits filed in at least 7 states over the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Instead, it wants federal courts to declare that it has no liability to survivors or families of slain victims under a federal law enacted after the September 11th terror attacks, which to me, this law should be completely overturned and was not even intended for this type of situation. It was not meant for this type of scope. You should see how bad they're reaching with this, as you will when we get further on here. MGM argues that the October 1st shooting met 2 conditions of the law. It qualifies as an act of terrorism, and federally certified security services were used at the venue where 22,000 concert goers were gathered as gunfire rained down from the company's Mandalay Bay Casino Resort. Okay, slight problem. Did you have federally certified security services at your establishment where it was the perch that the guy, the Bernie bro, looks like it might have had ties with ISIS and Antifa. I mean, who knows these days? But was it? Yeah, ISIS claimed it. But yeah, I mean, and supposedly then it was, oh yeah, he was, oh, what's the word? Sympathetic to Antifa. I mean, there's been so much shit that's gone around with this. But the bottom line is, did you have them in your location? No, you did not. So that doesn't exactly work for you now, does it? All right, and one lone person that officially has no ties to any terrorist organizations is up for grabs. It's a mass shooting. That isn't necessarily terror. And even if it was, you should be held liable. That law will get tested. And you know what? It'll probably be found unconstitutional. I mean, this is ridiculous. But experts believe legal resolutions won't come quickly because appeals are practically guaranteed and a U.S. court may not be the appropriate entity to determine whether the shooting is considered terrorism. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said Friday that the law authorizes its leaders to make that declaration. See, this is what's messed up. Department of Homeland Security should not have that determination. Okay? No one... I think a court of law and the preponderance of the evidence is not a problem on that note. I really don't see an issue with them being, with the preponderance of the evidence and being a court, they're having the right to declare whether it is or not. MGM's lawsuit target victims. It should be MGM's lawsuits. Oh, lawsuits. Plural. I read it the wrong way. I thought it was lawsuit targets. MGM's lawsuits target victims who have sued the company and voluntarily dismissed their claims or have threatened to sue after a gunman shattered the window of his hotel suite and fired on a crowd of country music fans. Stephen Paddock killed 58 people and injured hundreds more before killing himself. So, before it was they killed him, now he killed himself. What's the fucking official story this week? And the thing is, why did these people voluntarily dismiss their claims? Did you offer them money? What's the deal? I love how they leave that out. Why did they voluntarily dismiss their claims? And what's this? If people have threatened to sue, you're going to sue them? This is disgusting, MGM. MGM is invoking the Support Anti-Terrorism by Fostering Effective Technologies Act of 2002, enacted to urge the development and use of anti-terrorism technologies by providing companies a way to limit liability if their federally certified products or services fail to prevent a terrorist attack, which to me is complete bullshit, number one. Number two, the reason why it is because if you design a flawed product, and someone certifies it as good, it's still a flawed product, and you should still be liable for those flaws. You shouldn't get a free pass because Uncle Sam said, "Oh yeah, we'll certify that shit." No way. You should still be held liable for your incompetence or your faulty design or whatever the case may be. And I love this was about technology. That was the whole point of this. It wasn't meant for services, like with people. After 9/11, manufacturers and others were concerned that they could be sued out of business after an attack. Well, if they're manufacturing a product that they say is going to stop a terrorist attack, that's false fucking advertising. Don't advertise that shit, and you don't have to worry about the liability. But this just gives them the ability to falsely advertise because the government rubber stamped the shit and said, hey, they're fucking golden. The law has never been used to avoid liability after mass violence, such as the shooting at a Colorado movie theater in 2012, because previous attacks haven't involved services or products certified by Homeland Security. The department has only approved about 1,000 services and technologies, including airport screening equipment and stadium security. Which, to me, if a stadium lets in a fucking terrorist, they should be liable for that shit. They shouldn't get a free fucking pass. You go to a place like a stadium or a movie theater or any place like that where they tell you cannot be armed. You are putting your safety in their hands. If they cannot guarantee your safety, then they should be held liable if something happens to you. That's the bottom line. MGM said in the lawsuits filed in Nevada, California, Utah, and other states that its security vendor for the outdoor concert venue, Contemporary Services Corp., was federally certified. That doesn't mean shit. They weren't inside your fucking hotel where the shooting actually happened itself. The physical shooting was happening on your property. Where the people were getting hit was a different location. You're still liable. This is complete reaching. The thing is they know that they could be so fucked financially. And this is about trying to literally screw over the victims of a guy who they let, with red flag after red flag after red flag, just set up shop and camp out until the concert in their hotel. This is disgusting. The Department of Homeland Security said in response to MGM's lawsuits that its secretary possesses the authority to determine whether an act was an act of terrorism under the law in question, and it has not made any such determination regarding the Route 91 Harvest Festival mass shooting incident. Which is kind of a thing where, like, well, we have the authority. This is like the fact of when Trump fired, oh God, who was it? And they were like, well, you can't fire me. Or he promoted someone else, and he was like, you can't do that. I'm the next in line. You can't do that. You don't have authority here. This is that type of shit. It's working in the favor that MGM is fucked, and I like that, because if they got him to say it was, MGM could just go, fuck you. And there would be people suing the government, there'd be people suing MGM, and it would probably end up to the point of where you'd see that this law would be ruled unconstitutional. The agency says it is reviewing the matter. The law broadly defines it as an unlawful act that harms a person in the U.S. and uses or attempts to use weapons or other methods that can cause mass destruction. MGM says Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen is not the only one with authority to make the call, and that her public statements make clear the attack meets the law's requirements. What? Her saying it hasn't reached that point, we haven't made that determination, backs you? Wow, MGM is really desperate. The company's argument is far too broad of an interpretation of the statute. It should be fairly clear that what MGM did is not what is intended in the statute, said Brian Finch, a partner at Pillsbury, Winthrop, Shaw, Pittman in Washington, D.C. It is the secretary's responsibility, not that of a judge. CGC's general counsel, James Service, said the company doesn't comment on litigation. MGM faced immediate backlash over the lawsuits this week, and it insisted in tweets and statements it is trying to expedite resolutions for the victims. Bullshit! It stressed that it is not asking for money or attorney's fees and directed the complaints only at people who have already sued us or have threatened to sue us. Oh my God. This is fucking ridiculous, to say the least. We're doing it for the victims. We're suing the victims for their own good. They're going to have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in attorney's fees, but it's for their benefit. Holy shit. We are seeking justice through the federal court system in order to reach a timely resolution. We want to resolve these cases quickly, fairly, and efficiently, spokesman Deborah Deschong said on MGM's Twitter account. Yes, but if this is ruled a terrorist incident, you are not liable, which means you're not going to pay out a fucking dime. Holy shit. This is sleazy. Sleazy shit. Can you see why I wanted to do this one last video? I mean, this is fucking beyond vile. You're seeking justice by screwing over the little people. Typical fucking attorney. Victims' attorneys and legal scholars told the Associated Press that the company's strategy won't speed up anything. Of course it won't. It's about literally screwing people out of the ability to be made whole through restitution, which they will never be made whole because MGM dropped the fucking ball. I mean, they've got 65 million fucking cameras all over the casino itself, but the cameras that would have captured anything happened to not outside. Any fucking hotel with a casino that has cameras out, if they tell you that, they're lying. Because the cons that they have going on in casinos go well beyond the casino floor itself. And you're going to have people in the rooms that are part of these cons. So they keep cameras everywhere. I mean, this is such messed up shit. They should be paying through the nose for their fuck up. They really should be. Alfred Yen, Associate Faculty Dean and Professor at Boston College Law School, said the law is not perfectly clear, and unless these parties settle, the matter could reach the U.S. Supreme Court because whoever loses is likely to appeal. Well, of course they are. And MGM would probably lose. At least that's my opinion. I don't have any legal expertise, but to me, you're not allowed to stroll into their, establishment and protect yourself. They have an obligation to protect you because they're saying you can't come in armed and be able to defend yourself. So they should therefore be liable because they weren't able to protect you. This is a high-stakes controversial case. Our court would be very careful not to rush to a judgment on this, Yen said. It is going to take a long time for a court to decide the merits of this case. No, it shouldn't. They, in lieu of you being able to protect yourself, say they are going to protect you. They were unable to do that because their security is shit. Because, someone dropped a ball or whatever. And this guy was able to lug up, a small gun store's worth of weapons and ammunition to his room. He was acting shady and you did nothing. You should be held liable for that because you said, we will protect you. The concert, you said, unarmed, we'll protect you. And because you hired some company to do security that's federally certified, you think that's going to let you get off. That shouldn't be a fucking factor to this. How could they protect those people at an outdoor venue when the guy's in your building and no one's getting up there to stop him? Makes no sense. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. As you can tell, it got me a little pissed reading this. But I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.